I'm gonna kind of go over an overview of what I was doing here. This is a knife. Well, it's not a knife yet. It's a railroad spike that I engraved a fleur-de-lis on. See, it's just a standard spike. I ground this smooth so I could do some hand engraving on it. Came out all right. I mean, I did that pretty much freehand, so it's okay. It's going to blacken up some with the forging, but I've got you on my tripod here so I can kind of scroll around and show what the fire looks like. See, there's the fire. See if I can get the anvil in the picture. All right, so there's the fire and the anvil. I'm going to try and forge a little bit. It's going to be kind of odd for me, but I can see the anvil in the picture and I can see the fire. Fire is not doing optimal, and it's because it's so damp out here, nothing's quite right. Well, that interrupted my filming. That was a company advertising. I do carpentry for a living, and while that's heating, I'll show you. I do carpentry for a living, and I get called every day or every other day by either Home Advisor or some other company that wants to make money off of me that doesn't actually do any work. And so that call that I just interrupted my video for, which probably won't edit in right, was some company with a out-of-state area code trying to sell me advertisement to golf courses for a carpenter. And I said, look, I'll tell you the same thing I tell all of them. I do my own advertisement. I work for myself. I do my own advertisement. I have more than enough work to do anything that I need. He's like, well, if money is drawing you, holding you back, you know, we got payment plans. And I'm like, look, it ain't the money. I got plenty of money. Also, I got plenty of work. I got more work than I can do. So I just told him, look, I hope you have better luck with the next fella, but I'm not interested. Meanwhile, the whole time I'm over here hammering because I put him on speakerphone. So I don't know what he made of that. He kind of chuckled when I told him Home Advisor called me on a regular basis. I forgot, y'all probably not being able to hear any of that conversation because when it gets that high pitch, it cuts it out. I'm going to switch to my other hammer. Fire is starting to get better. I don't know. But anyway, now that's a lesson for you fellas out there that are trying to sell advertisement to somebody like me that works for himself. If a guy works for himself and has done it for 10, 20 years, they know how to get business. They don't need your help. And charging them money because you're advertising is usually just going to drive them away. There are too many free advertising venues out there. Used to, everybody had to advertise on the phone book. That's just not the case anymore. See, we're starting to get somewhere with it. I'm going to refine it all. Make sure you don't burn them tips. prefer when I'm putting these in the fire, I really need a set of, well, I'll say this, railroad spikes are very, very awkward to forge on with the head still on them. They're difficult to get in the fire. They're difficult to get in and out of the fire. Everything about them is hard to deal with. They're soft metal, but the fact of the matter is, you'll see me fighting it. It's because of that stupid head that's on the top of them. It makes it difficult to get them in there. Unless you make a special pair of tongs for it, and I don't feel like that. I generally use small stock, so these are the tongs I made for the small stock I work with. And that's hot. These are some old tongs that I've got. Fire's cooking now. So this is real time. Me putting the metal in the fire. How long it takes to heat up. Because I'm not going to cut this section. Well, I can't cut the section unless I pause it. And I don't feel like doing that. So this is what you're really getting. You got a good coal fire going. This is how long it really takes to heat up something that's, 3/16 thick. Up to a little fatter in some places. This is what you're really ending up with. These tongs need some oil to them. I'll show you an interesting trick if I haven't done it before. Probably have. Try and get it in there. Got a big old piece of slag down in the bottom of that. I think it should be in. Where'd my mallet go? Find me a mallet. I don't know what I did with it. No, it's this piece of wood. It may work. So see, now we've got a little bit of a forward curve. That's because I use that piece of wood to keep from deforming the edge. And what we'll do, we'll try and carefully, without burning up the edge, heat the edge, forge the edge a little bit. It'll bring that curve back out of it. And if we do it right, straighten the blade up some. You don't want really, unless you're intending to go for a forward curved edge, you want to keep, see all that slag melting off in there? You want to keep your edge fairly straight. So you're coming in here and when you see it bounce real hard, that's because it hit the anvil and not the metal. But if you come in here and work that edge down, you can just about get it sharp with a hammer that has a rounded face on it. So I can come in here like this and get this angle and see we straighten that edge now. Now I need to work on the handle some here in a second, but I'm going to work on that edge just a hair more. Now we're getting close to a decent grind. We're about a dime's thickness on the edge, and the blade shape's not bad. It's a little different than what I normally do for a railroad spike knife, but we're going to change the handle configuration slightly. And I will say this: railroad spike knives are always handle heavy because they have that big old pommel. And there's really not a whole lot you can do about it. And most people that want railroad spikes into a knife, they want it for decorative purposes. This is my touch mark, my maker's mark. Whenever I get done forging this, I'll stamp it kind of on the left-hand side of the blade, so if you're right-handed, you can see it on your hand, next to your hand. And I'm going to have some imperfections in railroad spikes, part of the character. Overall, the handle's not too bad. You want that width to be, big enough that you can lock it into your hand, even though nobody's going to seriously use a railroad spike knife for any kind of real work. I still don't make a knife that they can't use for something. If you can't use that knife for something, I don't make it. I don't make decorative knives. I mean, I do. This is a decorative knife, but even my decorative knives are going to be sharp. All right, that's how now. This side. You got to watch that. When you get that nice searing smell of skin when it hits your knuckles, that's when you know you've really got a hot piece of work. And I know. Personal protective equipment, all that is. But I really, instead of having some gloves melt around my hand or some plastic melt around my eyes, I'd rather have that slight burn. Burns will heal up, scars will heal over, and I'll tell you what, it's not very fun to have that plastic melted to your face. Any kind of heat-based stuff, having plastic safety goggles and all that stuff. See, I got my knuckles right there. Right there and right there. You can see that charred skin? That's what happens when you get good hot stuff on it. Alright, so we got an issue with the blade being slightly offset from the handle. And even though this is a mostly decorative piece, which will still have a real functional edge, you still want everything to line up and be straight, like when you make a knife. You want it all to be straight, line up, and the edge be straight. what you're going to do is you can come in here and persuade it over slightly. That was too much. That's barely straight. The edge is not. So we'll work on the edge real quick. That's the oil from the quench tank. And it stayed straight. And if I've got to park the Toyota, in? Yeah. How? Why are you not working? Pretty straight. All right. So to recap, this is what I made. This is the finished product. He wanted a Fleur-de-lis on the back, which I hand engraved with a homemade graving tool. Got my maker's mark. I don't like making railroad spike knives, but this is what I got. At first I did it straight. I forgot that he wanted a spiral, so I had to go back in there and put a spiral in it. Then he wanted to curve this back a little bit more, so I curved it right in here just a hair more. The blade's kind of a nice usable shape. Could be a good kitchen knife. It's sharp. Let's see if I can get it pointed at the camera. It's showing that reflection, but it's fairly straight for a railroad spike. Got that fleur-de-lis in there. But anyway, I don't like making railroad spike knives. They don't hold an edge for very long. I mean, it's better than iron, but it's not high carbon steel. Even the ones that say HC on the back are not real high carbon. But anyway, fit your hand nicely. Your hand wedges in there, makes a good shank. Got that butt cap you can hit something with. If you wanted to go reverse grip on it, got that on the front. Got you a reverse grip. But anyway, that's the wrap up for the video. This will be the first video I try and edit on my phone, so we'll see how it goes.